Today's topic are ketones. Are they sacred or are they evil? What are they exactly, and how are you missing out on this untapped energy source? If you ever owned or driven a car, a motorcycle, or any other kind of motor vehicle, you probably know what type of fuel that car is burning. It's gas, right? If you own a Ferrari, you have to put gas into the Ferrari for the car to move. If you own a Tesla, then you have to put electricity into the car for it to move. However, if you own a hybrid, well, then you have a choice of either putting gas or electricity for the car to move. Gas cars run on gas, EVs run on electricity. Buses, trains, airplanes, motorcycles, any type of motor vehicle would require some type of energy source to power them up, to make them move. Now, what about your body? Your body's moving all the time. Your heart is pumping all day long without stopping, or you'd be dead, right? What's powering your heart? What's powering your brain, your senses, your internal organs? What kind of fuel do you burn so that your arms and legs can move throughout the day? Hi, my name's Andy. My wife Min and I, we're the Foolish Couple. We're the founders of the Focal Academy. We focus on mentoring and teaching the success principles and how to apply these principles to 3 areas of life that money can't buy, which is your health, your time, and your love, your relationships. Now, I would say probably up until about 2 years ago, I really had no idea what my body burns as fuel. I don't know what fuels up my body. You know, you can probably say it was food, but what kind of food did my body actually use as fuel? Solar power electrical energy is clean, and we all know gas is dirty. Now, are our bodies burning clean fuel or dirty fuel? What does it even mean? And why should you care? How does your energy source affect your body and your health? And does burning dirty fuel makes our bodies dirty too? Our bodies are these mysterious machines. It's only the last recent couple years that we started to see some research about what kind of fuel our bodies actually can burn. And if we go back into prehistoric ages, our ancestors, they were hunter-gatherers. They go out on hunting trips and they get lucky. They may be able to get a buffalo, maybe a wild boar, or some other wild animal. And then everyone at the village gets to feast on the meat, right? However, they're not always lucky. If you think skipping a meal is hard, our ancestors' lives were much harder. There may have been days or even weeks where they have nothing to eat. There's no such thing as eating 3 meals a day, or any other type of regular meals for that matter. Snacking is what they find off a tree, off a bush, such as a piece of fruit, or digging for roots. When there was nothing to eat, our ancestors depended on burning their own body fat energy. Body fat as energy to keep them moving, to keep them alive, until the next time they have a feast. As it turns out, our ancestors naturally had the ability to burn 2 types of fuel. Fuel from the foods and fuel from their own body fat. Our ancestors, they have the exact same biology as us. We have the same bodies. Our bodies, just like our ancestors, also have the innate ability to burn our own fat as energy. But nowadays, we're all spoiled. We don't have a shortage of food. In fact, we're constantly stuffing our faces throughout the day with food and something that probably looks and resembles food. Over time, our body's just forgotten how to burn our own body fat. We have essentially taken away our body's own innate ability to burn fat, or more specifically, ketones, as fuel. Now, how does that sound? Burning our own body fat for energy sounds pretty amazing, right? And what exactly are ketones, and what does that have to do with this whole fuel that we're talking about? Well, let me explain. Here's how it works. When your body is making energy, it's like building a fire inside to fuel your body. Your body has 2 main ways to build this fire. You can burn carbohydrates, or you can burn fats. Technically, you can burn proteins also. I'll explain that a little more on that later. With the abundance of food nowadays, Most of us have lost the ability to burn fat as fuel as we rely on carbohydrates or carbs, and more specifically, glucose for fuel. But the problem with burning carbohydrates as fuel is that it's not sustainable and you constantly need to refeed to replenish the energy. When your body burns carbs for fuel, it's like you're building a fire with small twigs. Now, twigs light up very easily, they build up a fire really fast, but guess what? They also burn out really fast. So when you rely on carbohydrates for energy, yes, you get that quick burst of energy for the first half hour to an hour, but then you get the crash when the fire goes out per se. So to keep the fire burning, you have to continue throwing these twigs into the fire to keep it burning, to continuously refeed your body so you have energy throughout the day. Now, what about protein, right? You may have heard that protein is great for building muscle and making you feel fuller, longer, right? Well, eating protein is like throwing up a big log into the fire over the twigs. The log will help the fire burn a little longer, but as your body takes longer to break down the protein into glucose for fuel, but it'll still burn out and you still lose your energy over time. To keep the fire burning, you need to continuously either throw more logs or more twigs, which is the carbohydrates and protein, into the fire. This is how metabolism works for most of the people out there. They really rely on carbs or protein for energy to power them out throughout the day. Now, just imagine for a moment a more sustainable energy source, like using solar power to power up your home. An energy source that we practically have an endless supply with inside our bodies, and that's fat. Imagine that fire that you started with your small twigs. Rather than continuously throwing more twigs and logs into to keep it burning, what if you toss in some coal to start a real fire that can burn for hours, like for a great barbecue party, right? Coals is harder to light and catch fire, but when they finally do, they provide both fire and heat for prolonged periods of time. Burning coal is like burning fat. When fat is thrown into this fire, your body makes ketones for energy. So essentially, your body turns fat into ketones, which powers up our bodies. So there, if you heard about ketosis or ketogenic diets, this is what they're all talking about, is trying to get ketones to burn for energy. Your goal should be to teach your body to use ketones for energy. Once your body learns to use ketones for energy, everything changes. Rather than the roller coaster of the feeling up and down throughout your day, you'll notice you have energy throughout the day now. Your mind is clearer, it's sharper, and you lose that craving to constantly eat throughout the day. Your body will learn to burn your own body fat for energy, something that most of us have plenty of, right? And you know where they are. It's hiding right around this area, right? It's the answer you're looking for to not only lose weight, but also to lose the weight in the areas that you're carrying the most fat. Like I said, around your hips and your belly. So, if using ketones help burn fat, why aren't more of us burning fat for energy, you may ask? Well, that's because it's really, really hard to do initially. It's like lighting coal. You can't just hold a piece of coal, put a match to it, and hope that it lights up. How many of you have started a fire for a barbecue party? Remember how long it takes to light the coal? You throw twigs or pieces of wood surrounding the coal and light the wood. The twigs light up fast and builds a fire, but it takes a while for the twigs to actually catch the coal on fire. But once that coal lights up, wow, barbecue time for hours and hours on end without adding new twigs, right? Like lighting the coal, our bodies normally take a long time to start burning fat. It's going to look for the easier burning sources of fuel first, such as glucose or sugars that come from your carbohydrates and the proteins that you eat, and also all the stored sources of glucose that's already inside your body. Now, there are two common ways to get your body to burn ketones. The first one is you probably have to work out 10 times harder than you currently do to burn off all the carbs you're already refeeding with, that you're eating every day, and what's also inside your body. Or two, you can go on a ketogenic diet. And that's why the ketogenic diet is so popular now. It's meant to help your body burn ketones. But like lighting coal, it takes weeks or even months to light that coal when you're on a ketogenic diet. And the biggest problem is that most people don't know when they're in ketosis, when their body knows how to burn ketones for fuel. Most people just assume that they are without knowing if they are or aren't. To really know if your body is burning ketones for fuel, you need to measure your metrics. Now, you all know I'm a very big fan in tracking your metrics for health. There are 3 ways to measure ketones in your body: through your urine, through your breath, or through your blood. And the most accurate way is through your blood. If you're serious about using ketones for fuel, you need to constantly measure and track both your ketones and your blood sugar. And the best way we recommend is to use the keto mojo meter, which tracks both your ketone levels and your blood glucose levels. You want a reading of minimum 0.5 millimole per liter to 1 millimole per liter to be in nutritional ketosis, meaning that your body can burn fat for fuel. But if you really want to start burning fat, you want to work towards a reading of 1 to 3 millimoles per liter to be in optimal ketosis, so your body will burn fat as the preferred fuel. That's where we want to be, 1 to 3 millimoles per liter. Now in our next vlog, I will go over how most people are doing the ketogenic diet wrong, and some tricks to hack your body to give it a quick start into nutritional ketosis. Like lighting a matchstick coal, those ones that they advertise where you can literally put a match to the coal and the coal lights up. Wow, magical, right? Well, I'm going to share some tips where we can get our body to jumpstart into nutritional ketosis. Some quicker ways rather than waiting weeks or even months in the conventional ketogenic diet. You don't want to miss it. Till next time, love what you live and live what you love.